Hi, everybody. Ooh, we have actually a crowd, a small crowd. Good. Did anybody sign up?
Oh, I didn't even. It's summer.
Okay, Kathy, would you like to start? Roll call.
Alberts.
Here.
Cooper. Here. Ferguson.
Here.
Latin.
Here.
Foley.
Absent.
Janelli.
Absent.
Matrina.
Here.
Petrofessa.
Present.
Taberstack.
Here.
Tranzilla.
Here. Very good. Also present are the doctors Glass, Pescarella, and Martino.
No doctor.
Not yet.
Oh, the doctor.
All right. Maybe one side. Good.
I didn't shut my
Recognitions, we don't have any recognitions.
Well, let me do two.
Oh,
That's great. This is from Society for Science and the Public. Dear Frank LeBlanco, great news. Your student Sarah Johnson submitted an application to the Broadcom Masters National Middle School Science Competition. The application has now closed, and Sarah's application is under evaluation and in consideration for semifinalist and finalist status. Sarah's selection as a master's nominee is a great honor. Only 10% of science fair projects nationwide are selected for this opportunity. Your student will receive a t-shirt and bumper stickers and could be named one of 300 semifinalists announced August 19th, or one of the 30 finalists announced September 2nd. The 30 finalists will gather in San Jose, California for a week of competition, including a presentation of research projects. The top prize includes $25,000 earmarked for the superintendent, trips to STEM, summer camps, and more. Teachers of semifinals receive a set of Sally Ride Science career books. It's a great, I think, a great honor.
It is a
Frank
great
was
honor.
all excited about getting that, and we'll have the young lady here, see how it goes. I don't know if any of you have seen this. It was in the news. Somebody ranked middle schools, but anyway, Danbury Middle School is ranked in the new report, and it was 121 and 131, but they received solid B grades over attendance, behavior, scores. It was in actually our paper.
All three middle
The patch. No, all two. The third one's not. Yeah, that's not even on their horizon yet. But that was good to get. It was good to get. Our middle school celebrated. It was in the patch. In the patch.
alrighty, that was it? That's our recognition?
Were you in the news for something?
Oh, yes, I was.
Why don't you tell
Oh,
us?
that's right, yes, yes.
There's an annual kids court competition every year, and essentially what it serves to increase interest amongst students in high school and middle school, increase interest in civil rights issues. And so I wrote a paper about feminism, and I had to present it in Hartford at the Capitol, maybe.
So what was the bottom line?
I came in first place.
No, what was the bottom line of the paper?
It was a wonderful opportunity. It was great.
Great.
I really learned a lot. So.
Okay, congratulations. Congratulations. Very good. All right, what else? Okay.
That's a lot.
That's, what do you mean,
Congratulations.
that's good. Okay, public participation. The board welcomes public participation and asks that speakers please limit their comments to 3 minutes. Speakers may offer objective comments of school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any expression of personal complaints or defamatory comments about Board of Education personnel and students, nor against any person connected with the Danbury Public School System. We're starting with,
Kim, sorry.
thank you.
I have to go get her. She's playing in the other room. She's a student of school.
Okay, certainly. Who are we talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so while we're waiting for Karen Surrey, perhaps we can go with Tricia Coe.
I think that was
Hello. Good evening. My name is Tricia Coe, and I have 2 children in the Danbury school system. Next fall, both of my sons will be students at Danbury High School, so as you can see, I have no personal gain in this matter of sibling preference at AIS. As someone who has been active in my kids' schools and former co-president of the citywide PTO, I'm here to speak on behalf of what I feel is right for all the families in the district and not just one school community. I can certainly understand why parents who already have kids at AIS would want to have the convenience of having all of their elementary-aged kids at one school. But forgotten in this argument is that they already have that option. We have great community and neighborhood schools in Danbury. Sending your child to AIS is a choice that parents make. For example, when AIS opened, my oldest son was at Mill Ridge and doing very well. When his brother was entering kindergarten, my husband and I made the decision not to enter the lottery precisely because we wanted to keep our kids together in the same neighborhood school. That was our choice. While I have never been a fan of the lottery system, if that is the criteria, then it should be fair and equitable to all families in Danbury and not be preferential to those who have already had the good fortune to hit the lottery before. I have heard many parents who are in favor of the sibling preference state how much of an inconvenience it would be to have kids in different schools. If this is the case, then perhaps the neighborhood school is the better option for them, or at least factor into their decision to send their students to AIS. If you have multiple kids, you're going to have to face the prospect of having kids in different schools at some point anyway. In fact, families at Mill Ridge, in the Mill Ridge district, are already dealing with this issue, and they did not have this same choice. Basically, in closing, I just want to thank you for your time, and I really hope that the board will do what is fair and equitable to all the students in Danbury. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now Karen can come. Where is she?
More support.
My name is Karen, and
Just read what you wrote.
I think they should not change the school because I have a little sister too, and I love her and want her to come to my school.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You did a great job. Thank you. Thank you. Nobody else expects me to go on and on like that. Tricia Robinson, please. Thank you, Karen. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. For those of you who remember, I'm back again to talk about why I believe the sibling policy is a good idea for the school. I've done a little bit of research. I've talked to Hartford and how Hartford runs their programs is they basically allow the principal to set the stage for if sibling policy should be in place. There's somewhere in the neighborhood of over 30 magnet schools, and all but one have the sibling preference because they believe in following the leadership of their principal. I know Dr. Natowski talked about this a couple weeks ago, and she strongly felt in favor that we would disrupt the school in a negative way by eliminating the sibling preference. I was a little disappointed to hear a couple of comments. Last time I was here, we were referred to as elitist, and I can tell you that is the furthest thing from the truth about the kids at the school. You just saw my 6-year-old daughter who cried when I told her her sister might not be able to come to the school. Priya, my 3-year-old, which I understand that there is a grandfathering in place, but I'm talking about future families here. Every future family is going to bring their younger siblings there for every event they possibly can because we try to make it as family friendly as possible. And you're introducing these kids to the school at birth, first 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're thinking they're coming to the school and they're meeting the teachers and they're seeing the environment and they're getting comfortable in that school. If this policy is changed, this will be the only Danbury school that does not have sibling preference. Every other school will have sibling preference except for this magnet school. Studies have shown that magnet schools with sibling preference perform better. I don't know one study that says eliminating sibling preference is better for the school. So you've heard people talk about why, fair is fair. Honestly, I don't think there's really anything fair about a lottery system, but as the numbers I presented 2 weeks ago said, 8% chance of getting in with sibling preference, 13% chance of getting in without sibling preference. What we need to do is take what we've done at the magnet school and push it out to the rest of the schools. Plenty of people I know applied for their kids to get in. One twin got in, the other didn't. They did not go to the school. They did not want to split up their family. That was their personal choice. But I think telling people that for sure your kids aren't going to get in is going to change the people who are applying to the school anyway. And I just don't think it's the right thing for the school. And I think that somewhere down the line you're going to be back here again with other Danbury families, especially since every other city but a Danbury family will have sibling preference. It seems a little bit anti-Danbury family. And I would hate for someone to feel that they were being discriminated against just because they happen to live in the Danbury zip code. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Lynn. Hamilton? Lynn Lukasik? Lukasik. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lynn Lukasik. I'm part of the citywide PTO, also the the outgoing PTO secretary for Broadview and coming to the high school. And I believe that there should not be preference for siblings going to EIS. It's a great school, and it's got a lot going for it. And I think every single family should have an opportunity to go into lottery and see if it's right for their children. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Janet Hamilton.
Hi, I'm Janet Hamilton. I'm on the citywide PTO also. I also believe that the lottery should stay in place since it is how the children were already selected to go to the school. And if you have the preferential treatment, you are actually lowering chances of others to go to the school. So I believe keeping the lottery and not having the sibling preference is the way we should go. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there an employee representative in the audience? Nope. Okay. Student representatives aren't here. Do you have something to say?
Well, I know at Danbury High School we finished out we had a great end of the year. We had our graduation. I saw all of you there, where we had our marching band perform, and we also had the chorus there as well. And I know that a number of our seniors were very sad to be leaving us this year, and we are sad to see them go as well. But I know our class, my class, is the rising senior class, and we are so looking forward to next year. And I know that the students who are staying on at Danbury High School also look forward to a wonderful year that is approaching. So,
thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ferguson, for calling to mind that I left out the consent calendar. Boy, I'm on holiday. So, Kathy, go.
That the Board of Education approves the items on the consent calendar, exhibits 15-127 through 15-129 as recommended.
Second.
Seconded by Michael Ferguson. Is there any discussion or questions? No?
Actually, I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On one of the things on the consent calendar,
Yes?
that maybe someone could just explain to me.
Could you use the microphone, please? Thank you.
I have a question about the teacher eval part. That's not on the consent calendar.
Oh, you mean item E on the action items?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was on the consent calendar.
No, that's not. That's the action item. Okay, so everybody calm
Oh,
down.
I see that. Sorry. Don't have any questions.
Well, hey, I forgot about the consent calendar. I'm sorry?
Okay. Just a question. We're voting on with the amendment of
The revised agenda?
the revised one we're voting on right now, right?
Revised agenda?
Yeah.
The revised
That's all.
agenda.
That's all, yeah.
Yes, the revised
I guess there
agenda.
were 2 corrections.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for the revisions, by the way.
Okay, well, I do read them.
Thanks for paying attention. Okay. Good, because I liked the second one better than I liked the first one. So, there you go. All right, there's no other questions on the consent calendar. I do want to, before we vote on it, just call to everybody's attention that there were retirements of 31, 18, 33, and 33 in 3 years. This is in addition to the 900 and some odd years, that the people that we honored last year. These are additions. These are additions to that. Judy, help me, guys. Galliano, 21 years. Mary Bardani, 18 years. Clemente Sanchez, 33 years. And Geraldine Jackson, 3 years. Okay. I also want to thank the United Way for the $40,000 grant given to our Family Learning Center for Strong Start initiative at the Park Avenue School. Alrighty, having said that, and seeing is anyone all in favor of the consent calendar as it reads? And I'll stop stuttering soon. What is it? I have one eye. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Any objections or abstentions? No. Seeing none, it goes. Okay. We have a presentation. We have a presentation by Mr. Sterling Miller.
Welcome to Hatters Nation. I'm Kevin Cordero, and I'm here with Clarissa Rodriguez. Today is a special episode. We would like to highlight some of the achievements and accomplishments of students in the Applied Arts Department at Danbury High School.
That's right, Kevin, but we should probably tell the audience what the Applied Arts consists of.
Thank you, Clarissa. The Applied Arts Department consists of students taking business, family consumer science, and technology education classes at Danbury High School. These classes allow students to explore careers and learn what college paths will help them to achieve their chosen careers. Students are able to apply what they learn in their core classes to real-world applications. Clarissa, will you begin by highlighting some of the accomplishments by students in the business department?
The business classes have been very busy this year. You may recall the entire town getting involved in a Marketing 2 class project, Celebrate My Drive, where students rallied our community and won $25,000 for the school. This is the second year in a row that the Marketing 2 class led the school in these efforts. Because we had won $100,000 last year, the maximum we could win this year was $25,000, which was still able to benefit the school in many ways.
Winning money isn't the only thing that students in business classes have done to help the community. Students in the Intro to Business classes have organized a cell phone drive for Women's Shelter and collected eyeglasses for the Lions Club. The Peer Leadership class has improved DHS by hosting a Halloween bash for children with Down syndrome, participating in a Girls' Night Out with a local nursing home, planned to present assemblies in Danbury Elementary Schools, hosted a Zoom event to collect shoes to donate to those in need, marched in a parade, and distributed information about post-traumatic stress syndrome, and the list goes on and on. As you can see, the business classes are very involved in the community. Business students are also very active in clubs in DHS.
That's right. This year, DECA had 80 students compete at the state competition. 23 continued on to compete in the national competition in Florida, where 13 scored in the top 20%. 7 students participated in the National Leadership Conference. Ryan Tan finished first in the state in the Virtual Business Hospitality Challenge, and Brian Colin took first place in the state in the Virtual Business Restaurant Management Challenge. The FBLA also has been busy and had Shrey Patel finish first in state in the FBLA competition. DHS started a National Business Honor Society chapter this year and already has 15 members. Students enrolled in the business classes have so many opportunities this year for growth and learning as they have applied what they are learning to real-world projects. Students have also had opportunities to learn about the workforce by going on job shadows to GE Capital, Cartus, and the Matrix, and other locations. There are so many more accomplishments of the students enrolled in the business classes. We could go on for a long time. But before we move on, we would like to share a video showing you behind the scenes look at a student-produced video game.
Welcome to Hat City Games. We are a game studio here at Danbury High School in Connecticut. We are creating a video game this year. It is a strategy game by the name of Wade Towers. We have artifact and location creation in the program Blender, a 3D modeling program. Come see our booth at the 2015 Student Innovation Expo on June 6th.
It really takes a lot of work to produce a video game. The business classes are not the only ones that are working hard. The Applied Arts Department also have the Family Consumer Science classes. These classes prepare students to pursue careers in baking and culinary arts, child development, psychology, fashion design, medical careers, and more. The baking classes not only learn how to bake, but actually bake for real clients. Students have been able to bake cakes, gingerbread houses, and much more. One of the students, Danielle Polinchuk, actually wrote and produced her own cooking show where she demonstrated how to make a homemade apple pie. Her show has over 400 views on YouTube and was favored during the holidays in Comcast Channel 97. The culinary arts classes have also been very busy. They create their own menus and come up with wonderful breakfasts and lunches that are out of this world. They offer an omelet station, gourmet pancakes, and much more for breakfast. Their lunch menus include a variety of items from a calamari fried salad to hamburgers to ahi tuna salads. Together, the baking and pastry arts classes have catered over 20 events and have been opening throughout the years, serving teachers. Students gain on-the-job training that inspires them to continue their education in culinary arts, hospitality, and baking in many universities.
Family Consumer Science also includes classes such as psychology and child psychology, clothing and textile arts, where students learn to sew and design their own clothes and accessories such as purses, notions, and many more. In addition to these classes, there are also classes that prepare high school students to work with children. Students are able to work as teachers in a preschool setting where preschool-aged children come in and learn from the high school students. The preschool Little Hatters is set up in the high school for children in the community to sign up for. High school students plan, prepare, and teach the children while they are gaining valuable skills that will prepare them to further their education in early childhood development. At first glance, it appears that this course is all fun and games, but in reality, the high school students spend countless hours preparing and planning for their teaching days. On any given afternoon, you will see students staying after school to work on the preschool.
Students working in the Little Hatters aren't the only ones staying late and working hard. The students who are studying in the Health and Bioscience Academy also are frequently staying after school, studying and working to improve their knowledge. These students are preparing to enter the medical field. Students taking the course prepare for and take your Certified Nursing Assistant, or CNA exam, at the end of each school year. They spend many hours studying and actually visit medical facilities such as Danbury Hospital to put in practice what they are learning. Students under supervision of a registered nurse work with patients in the medical facilities. Their dedication to studying pays off. These students have a pass rate annually with at or near 100% pass rate every year. These students become CNAs and use their experience working in hospitals to pursue various careers and studies in the medical field.
As you can see, there's a lot of career preparation in the Family and Consumer Science classes. Students learn about career responsibilities and are given direction as to what to study in college. Another group in the Applied Arts is the Technology Education Department. This department has courses ranging from automotive systems to architecture to construction to robotics and engineering to graphic arts and video production. Students are equally busy in these classes as well. Students enrolled in the automotive classes not only learn about car maintenance that everyone can benefit from, but they also run a full auto shop where they learn car repair. The architecture and construction classes will learn to design and build homes and business spaces. There are robotic classes connected to the Robotics Club, which is yearly one of the top teams in Connecticut and has competed in the World Vex Robotic Tournament each of the 5 years of the club's existence. Only the top 7% of teams around the world qualify to compete in this event. As you can see, students taking technology education classes are very busy in and out of school.
We probably should share with you some of our successes in video production and broadcast journalism. Last year in January, we began streaming events live online. Since that time, we have streamed live online over 35 events and activities, including every home game of this year's winning football team. We have recorded as many as 5 events in one day and have been able to have 2 internet streams going on simultaneously from 2 different schools. We have been able to mentor students in Danbury Middle and Elementary schools in video production. In the last year, our YouTube channels have had over 29,000 views with 87,389 minutes watched, which is more than 60 full days of time viewers spent watching highlights of Danbury Public Schools. This year, while broadcasting the Francis Evans Elementary track meet, we were told that Miss Evans was watching the live broadcast from Florida.
As you can see, the Applied Arts Department is busy during and after school in preparing students for college and careers. All of the classes in the Applied Arts Department are considered Career and Technical Education, or CTE. Research shows that students enrolled in CTE courses are less likely to drop out of high school and more likely to finish college.
We are proud to be CTE students at Danbury High School. As you can see through applied art classes, our school is providing many opportunities for students to explore and pursue careers through higher education that will be beneficial to them throughout their lives. This has been a special report by Hatters Nation and DHS News Broadcast. Thanks and have a great day.
So I just wanted to show you some of the achievements of these students, because if you walk Danbury High School halls 2 or 3 hours after the school is done, you are guaranteed to see students staying after working on their CNA exams, staying after working on business projects, staying after working on everything, and they get so involved with the community. And so we just wanted to show the board different successes and achievements that are going on that I see all the time, and I'm blown away, and I just wanted to share it with you. So that's all I wanted to do. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Sterling, before you pack up and go, thank you so very much for what you've done this year. It's amazing, okay, all the work you do. All right, because not only did he film all that stuff, guys, he leads all those kids. All right, thank you. All right, moving along. Moving along. Are we ready to move? Go, Kath.
That the Board of Education accept the May 2015 operating results analysis of the general fund in accordance with 15-130.
Second. Is there a second? Gladys Cooper seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wait a minute. Any discussion? I'm so sorry. Joe, I didn't mean to cut you right out of that one. So sorry. Is there any questions or on this? No discussion? Bob?
I'd just like to make a comment. I noticed with the encumbrances and all that you almost
yeah,
it's the whole budget, right?
it's a little close.
It's really a fantastic thing to do, given the size of the budget. Okay, I just want to say that.
Thanks. So it's a little closer than we'd like to see it, but it's okay. We'll leave it at that.
I'd rather see it closer than far.
Yeah, we're just about there.
Or the other way.
Yeah, we're bringing the plane in for a landing, as I like to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thanks, man.
Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous vote. Kathy?
That the Board of Education accept the May 2015 operating results analysis with the grants and projects in accordance with 15-131.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ralph? Seconded. Any questions, guys? Nobody else? Okay. Seeing none, I'll try your minds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? It's unanimous vote.
That the Board of Education approve the 5-year school lunch service agreement between the Danbury Public Schools and selected vendor, and to grant the superintendent the right to execute the agreement on behalf of the Board of Education.
Is there a second, please?
Awesome.
Phyllis? Phyllis seconded. Any questions? Discussion?
Just briefly, I just want to update the board. Our 5-year agreement currently was with Sodexo. We were required to go by the state out to bid for our 5-year cycle. Due to various issues with the state and the feds, we were held up. This contract should have been bid in about November, typically. Obviously, it's expiring June 30th. So the state did release the RFP. It's a state document that we have to follow. So we went through the RFP process. We had a mandatory walkthrough. We had 4 vendors that came through the mandatory walkthrough. A couple did drop out. We did have 2 final bid vendors, Sodexo and Aramark were the 2. We had a small committee of the finance office that reviewed all the bids, the scoring criteria, rubric, et cetera, that we have to go through. And through that process, we did select Sodexo as our vendor. The long and short of it is that 33 years of servicing Danbury. And really not just that, they came in very competitive on their price. $400,000 is their guarantee, so your school lunch program is guaranteed year 1 at $400,000 profit. And that being said, there's various charges that go to that. As you know, it's kind of a self-sustaining fund. The other thing I thought that was really interesting about their bid, there was a lot of new innovation they came in with this time. I mean, typically you have an incumbent vendor, it's kind of, the same old, and there's a lot of new items coming in, additional menu options, additional vending. A couple neat things, just very brief. was actually even like additional dining for students. They have a fine dining for elementary level where they actually set formal tables for the kids once a year at lunch, so they can see, the multiple forks. It complicates me when I go to weddings, so they'll do that for the kids. There's a lunch to principals, so there's a lot of neat innovations I think that are coming as part of it. So I think it was a really comprehensive package, so that's long and the short on that.
And they're nice guys. Oh, I'm sorry. No other discussion or questions? I'll try your minds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Vote. Next, Kath.
That the Board of Education approve the modification to the AIS operations plan in accordance with 15-132.
Move to table.
Yes.
This is our second. Gladys Cooper. All righty.
You have to vote on the table.
On the table? We're voting on the table, tabling it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I need you to say it out loud and with your name. Bob Tabersack?
No.
No? David? Yes? Yes, Phyllis? No, Michael? Kath?
Yes.
Yes? No. No?
Yes.
Yes?
No.
I'm voting yes. Kathy was
5, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 to 4.
5 to 4. It's tabled.
To table.
To table. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Next.
That the Board of Education approve the teacher evaluation plan in accordance with 15-133.
Second.
Second, yes. Second by Bob.
Okay, now I just have a question.
All right. Right, here you go. Question is?
At the end of the year summative review, could you talk to me about that?
Phyllis, could you talk into the mic? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Could you talk to me about the end of the year summative review? That part.
Sure. You did a very nice job this year. Just kidding. The summative review has multiple components to it. The first part is a professional practice goal, the PPG, and the employee, the certified staff member picks 1 or 2 professional practice goals to address for the course of the school year. They have a series of action steps underneath it. The second part of this is a SLO, Student Learning Objective, with IAGDs, Indicators of Academic Growth and Development. They can choose 1 or 2. If they choose 1, they have to have a whole group, and then they have to have a subgroup of their selection. If they choose 2, they have 2 whole group indicators, and they have 2 subgroup indicators. For administrators, there's a teacher effectiveness component that talks about what % of teachers in the building or in the department met their SLOs. And then there is the parent survey piece that says if we survey the parents, you say you're going to do certain action steps. It's not rated, but the teachers are reviewed based on the degree to which they did or did not do their action steps.
Okay, so I didn't make my question clear. I'm sorry, it's my fault. I see that there was none at this time. Do you see the little chart? And then it says the end of the year. I just want to know the difference. What happened? Like what was, that's all. Revisions for teacher evaluation support. You see, and then
I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question.
Yeah, well, I didn't make it very clear. It's not your fault.
What's happened is, as we've been phasing this in, there are no changes. There are 2 plans, the teacher plan and the administrator plan. There are no changes to the teacher plan. With the administrator plan, we have been working with Eye Observation, which is Marzano's outfit that creates all the engineering work in Eye Observation, and we've been phasing this in components. This year, the new piece, for example, is the district leader plan. Last year, we had the school leader plan.
Okay.
This year, we added the district leader plan. As we've been phasing it in, we started with just a professional growth plan and a student learning objective. Now we're starting to phase in the teacher effectiveness piece. So the sections that you're seeing here is really, it's a reflective piece that we didn't have as robust as we had in the past. And I'm doing these with the principals right now. Today I spent the better part of the day in end-of-the-year review sessions with each of the principals. So Mr. Boccaccio, for example, came in. He brought the metrics that showed how the group that he selected, he does mathematics, the group that he selected did in mathematics. He brought all the artifacts to document the growth that was demonstrated. He brought in his professional practice goal and the work that he did to actually engage in those activities. He talked about the parent engagement piece and how he solicited feedback, and then he had the documentation. You'll see in the digital version of the plan, because we don't want to burden you with all the paperwork, that we now have the surveys that have constantly been tweaked a little bit more to make sure that we're getting as much information as possible.
Okay, so generally speaking, it's just an added thing for the administrators?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Seeing none, I'll try your minds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous vote.
Thank you.
F,
That the Board of Education approve the 2015-2016 building rental fees in accordance with 15-134.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Cooper. Any discussion, questions? Seeing none, I'll try your minds. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions? Objections? Seeing none, it's passed unanimously.
That the Board of Education approve the use of building rental funds in accordance with 15-135.
Second.
Second by Ralph. All in, I'll try, anybody, questions? Bob has a question.
The point that these rental funds generally are used for fixing up things in the gym and things related to why the rentals were made in the first place. Am I correct in this?
Correct. The rental fund, I believe, has produced 7 or 8 gym floors just in my tenure here. So it's actually a phenomenal account we have that we established. So kudos to when that got put in years ago. I mean, seriously.
I was there.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All righty, there we go. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, unanimous again.
That the Board of Education approve the revisions to the Board of Education goals in accordance with 15-136.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Cooper. Anybody, any discussion or questions? Seeing none.
Just a quick question. I know we had a workshop.
Yes.
Could we go to goal number 1?
Yes.
On the second page? And it reads to ensure that each and every student is stretched and has the maximum opportunity to reach his or her potential. Identify annual growth targets and measures for students performing at an above proficiency level in all grades. Could we substitute another word instead of stretched? I mean, that's a little...
Challenge?
Yeah, challenge. I'm more comfortable with challenge than stretched.
Sounds like we're torturing you.
Yeah.
How does that sound to the administrators that are reading it?
I don't think that word came out when we was in the workshop, stretch. On the second page.
No, I don't.
No, I don't believe we use the word stretch.
So I think it would be beneficial to use the word challenge.
Okay, challenged is the word.
To ensure that it says each and every student, and to say,
challenged.
To ensure that all students. Doesn't that make more sense? Each and every.
Each and every, all students.
Yeah.
It means the
6 to 1,
same thing.
half a
To me, it doesn't
dozen.
matter. But if you want it all, you're the chairperson, would you like it all? You would like it
No,
to be all?
I think it should be done correctly.
Can you just say that to ensure
it
that
is.
students are challenging, and just all our students is encompassing in that?
It's
The other words are
it's
superfluous.
implied.
Yeah, that's your point.
Just take that word stretched
Yeah,
out.
to ensure that all students are challenging and has the maximum opportunity, and possess the maximum opportunity to reach their potential.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you get that, Flo? that to ensure that all students are challenged. Yep. That's it. And you need to finish the sentence for her.
Yes, finish it.
Yes, and the rest of it. Oh, you didn't hear the rest? Sal, repeat it.
A challenge and, I gotta reread it, to ensure that, that students are challenged and are given the opportunity to reach, are given the opportunity to reach. Oh, you don't have this in front of you, I'm sorry. Reach his or her potential, identify annual growth targets, and measurements for students' performance at or above proficiency level in all grades. I just give it.
Any other discussion on this? Gladys? No?
No, that's the only one that.
Anybody else? Gladys, nice job on all of this, thank you. Ready? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Objections met? Done. Moving along. Superintendent's report, where is he?
I was giving her your goals.
I thought he left.
Graduation, those of you that attended the middle school ones, I thought that went very well, quite frankly. The three of them, they were very efficient, and students were orderly and did the appropriateness of recognizing. It's really a moving ahead ceremony, moving up, and it was well done by all the schools and the faculty. Those of you that attended adult ed and the others, I thank you for doing that. They went very well. I thought the main graduation at the high school was phenomenal. The behavior of the youngsters exemplary. The speeches were outstanding.
Excellent.
Just absolutely excellent. At the end, this year, there was a change. I don't know if you noticed. You know, usually, right in there, they'll move their tassel, and the kids will. Gary wanted the faculty to line up so that the kids would have them to, go through the gauntlet there, because in the past, the kids would beat them there, right? So he had the senior class sponsor read that little speech. And I thought the kids were going to erupt, but they stood there and sat there and listened. You don't know how, I was sort of worried about that. It was unbelievable. And then they finished and they celebrated, and it was just, all of it was phenomenal. Karen and the staff need to be commended. The kids need to be commended. The audience was phenomenal.
I thought an excellent teacher turnout too, by the way.
Teacher turnout was
excellent. I wasn't counting, but
too.
it looked like a real good turnout.
Yeah, it was excellent. Thank you very much. They went very well. We're proud of them.
Could I just thank you on behalf of myself for I talked to you in February about our little sash, and you made it happen. And I want to thank you and the high school staff or whoever that hope you get our little sash here for graduation, and made us feel that coming out to all these meetings all these years is not in vain. Thank you.
Took a little sash.
I'm sorry, did we do it for the sash? That's why we're doing it?
No.
It's never 23 years to get a sash.
If we do all it was a sash for Gladys, we would have did this years ago.
I want crowns next year.
The tiaras.
Tiaras. All right, you have a legislative update?
Yes. There's still a lot going on, as you know. Still going back and forth budget with the governor. I think some things have happened with the corporate taxes. They need to be mindful of some of the taxes that they were trying to place on those businesses, so they're re-looking at things. But we fully expect them to move forward with everything by the end of the month, we're hoping. There is part of, I need to study it further. There's a law there, part of the Moore Commission. Moore Commission started 2 years ago to look at consolidating. That's where this calendar idea came up 2 years ago about consolidation. One of the things that looked like it's happening, Joe may know a little more about it too, that a school budget cannot raise more than 2.5% after they take out building funds and other things. Do you know exactly?
The municipal budget as a whole, which would include the Board of Ed, cannot increase by more than 2.5%. If it does, then the city side actually loses some of its grants. Not education grants, but where they would actually lose. What's excluded from that is binding arbitration. So if you went to arbitration with your teachers, that would be excluded, and would any additional bond debt. So it's significant. That goes into effect in 2018. So it's definitely something to be watched.
So that's how, we'll see what how that plays out.
New Jersey's done something similar. They did a 2% cap on theirs, but you'd have to go to a vote. It was a little different model.
Yeah, but it is capped.
Yeah, it is capped.
It's capped.
This is a loss.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, we need to look at, when we get the stuff from Cave and CAPS, we'll read through it more, but that's crazy. The other thing is they did extend the graduation requirements the following year, so it's the current 6th grade class. There is a special committee that CAPS is the chairman of, and they have teacher groups and parent groups looking at the graduation requirements to see, in fact, what is it that they would like to have, the experience they would like to see our seniors have when they leave high school. It may or may not result in more graduation requirement. Right now, it would be 25. We've been through that conversation about what it's going to cost you, but right now it's kicked out another year, so the current 6th grade. I added 2 things here. Building, we passed the referendum. I asked Joe today, did we hear anything about the...
City went out to bid this morning for architects.
Okay, so how long?
I didn't see the closing date. It's typically a week or 2 is the closing deadline for that.
So what'll happen is that'll go out, they'll choose the architect, they have the, they have the educational plans, and we'll be talking with them about, the building phase. We expect that from passing, it'll be 18 months out. That's what we're told. We'll see how that works out. But anyway, I'll keep you informed of that.
18 months from shovel in the ground?
We're talking about the
Well, it's 18 months from when they passed the referendum, so that's what they used to say. I think it's good that they got it close. But they did No Ridge, and they did all of that, so, it's phenomenal what they did there. There's just phenomenal guys that work in this city, project management.
My sense is that once we break this time in June, the shovels will hit the ground and you'll be open a year from there. That's been the talk, and I think the cities will stay close to that.
What was the date again?
That'll be the opening of 2017.
17?
18 months. So that'll be
18 months.
Opening.
Yeah. So that fall.
2017.
The current sophomores should occupy the new building, basically.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at it that way. So.
I just wanted to make sure that they're relooking at the front of the building.
I asked, the architect I spoke to is not the architect yet.
Those are just conceptual drawings, almost like concept cars, I guess I'd call it that. I mean, that's really what they are now.
But that's on our
I just want to make sure it doesn't, you'll be able to look at it before.
Yeah, no, we'll be at the table, and it'll come to you folks as well.
We don't have to look at it. The other thing is, I had mentioned something to you a few months ago on, the magnet school, for example, AIS magnet. We generate an income from that, somewhere in the vicinity of 800,000.
2 million.
Is it 800 from our students, though?
No.
What's
I don't know the exact. Between the state grant and the other, it's about 2.2 million is the total. The breakdown.
So our students are about 3,000 per student, and then the surrounding districts are 7,800.
7,650.
Also at the college, we have a program where districts pay tuition. I think we need to find ways to generate funds. Much like your building fund, generate funds, you put it back in the program. We're looking at, there are folks interested in ACE, very possibly in other things that for tuition. So we've been talking it up around. There are many alternative schools around. We staffed it a little higher. We'll see what happens, but I think we need to look at how we can actually generate funds other than just grants. We have some wonderful programs. Districts around us do not have the opportunity or the facilities to do it. If we could, cut off some enrollment numbers and charge 20, 30,000, they provide transportation, provided there's no special education, we could generate some incomes to help defray the constant cost really to run these programs. So I'll keep you in tune. We have some folks looking at ACE right now. We've had the college program a number of years.
Oh, yeah,
that's probably about 9 or 10 years for 18 and older. And we have, we expanded it. We worked at the university. Debbie, tell me how many we're thinking about, how many new students next year?
We're going to 15 or 16.
And how many we have now? 12. So, 4 kids at, what's that tuition?
33,000.
Yeah, 30,000. It helps us, with running the programs. And that's the kind of thing I think we need to think more of that way.
And the Rogers Park, what we're looking at doing now. We don't have necessarily kids lined up for that yet, but I mean, it's going to defray cost.
We have the autistic program at Rogers Park. You need to have programs that are operating. It's not operating. We will open that up to tuition as well. So I think there are things like that that we need to start thinking about to help generate some funds. I don't have any. Before I end, do you have anything, Joe or Bill?
Just to state, obviously, a short session, the 29th and 30th, which is when they'll finalize the actual budget on some level. No more than.
Good.
That's it. Thank you.
Alrighty. I'll go into my report. I want to thank people. I want to thank everybody sitting at the table for everything this year. You all know who I'm talking to. But mostly the things I want to point out is Bob Haversack, thank you for attending all of the graduations. Thank you.
I missed one, actually. You know which one I missed?
Thank you, and move on.
I just...
Okay, one more thing I've said tonight that was wrong, okay? I'm very, very sorry. Would someone write this down, because I'm on I'm breaking records now. I knew that, Bob. Okay, Bob missed the West Side Middle School graduation. Actually, they're not graduation, they're moving up ceremonies.
I'm getting old.
Okay.
Really?
Okay, we're not having that conversation about old. All right. Thank you, Bob. But then I also have to thank Kathy and Michael for being there for all 3 that day. Thank you very, very, very much.
It does make it better with air conditioning.
It does, doesn't it? Yes.
Yes, it does.
Jeez.
Okay, thanks. And then all the people that were there for Gembry High. Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Phyllis, for pushing me out of the way. But then I found out why. I found out why. I know, they told me.
I watched that little boy grow up.
Okay. I want to say that, so I think we've had a great year, school year, and now I also want to say that we have to start in September, and we have to find a date for our board self-evaluation. It has to be done by whatever it's called, by October. So I'll get together with some dates and I'll put it out there on the internet and we'll figure out when we're going to do it. Alrighty? And that's all I have to say. And thank you very much. And thank you for coming under the stress so we can have executive session and get this over with. Thank you.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Let's go.
Anybody have anything else they want to say? Alrighty. Do I hear a motion on the floor to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you all.